and then view these needs as rights. And once something is understood as a right, people tend to hold government responsible for providing it. For the American founders, the list of basic individual rights included life, liberty, and property. The founders asserted that God provides these rights, and government are responsible to protect them. That's the role of government, to protect our rights. We've said that before on this show, and we'll keep saying it. Government's role is to protect our rights. And those rights, again, are life, liberty, and property. Now, when we talk about that, no, you don't have to. Or do you need to? We have a side conversation on here. That goes over on this side over here. Why do you need that? It'll run off the battery, won't it? I don't know. Okay. You have the Declaration of Independence. Let's start there. Independence from Britain. And the problem I've always had with that document is where it says that all men are created equal. Of course, we know that's not true. What is true, that all men and women are equal under the law. And then the Declaration or the Constitution written after the war for our independence, which set up the way our government would run and gave us states' rights versus federalism. It protected the states. And it created the legislature, of course, the House and the Senate, the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the government's duty to, of course, again, to protect right, liberties, and property. Life, liberty, and property. All right. So then, over the years, the list of what Americans think they deserve from government has ballooned. Claims for the right to a high-paying job, home ownership, comprehensive health care, and freedom from college debt. Many Americans think that retirement at age 65 is an automatic right regardless of circumstances. And I might add here, age 55 if you're a government employee. Yeah, right. And around the holiday season, some of our citizens proclaim the supposed right not to be offended by a religious symbol displayed in the public square. Such we're-do attitude can suppress aspiration and zap the ambition to work. It often accompanies envy and class warfare, and it can weaken personal bonds of mutual responsibility and care among citizens. This outlook clashes with the attitudes of gift-giving and thankfulness that marks the Christmas season. Gifts create goodwill that bind both giver and receiver. Gift givers have a vested interest in seeing that the desired objective to their help is achieved. Food instead of illegal drugs. The receiver desires to demonstrate good stewardship of the gift by using it wisely rather than wastefully. Entitlements foster a different social relationship. These aren't personal. Voluntary acts taken on behalf of a friend, neighbor, or someone else we know. Entitlement programs are funded by taxes which government mandates under threat of penalty. Ever-expanding entitlements aren't just a fiscal liability, they're a moral threat as well. Reflecting on gifts of grace. Where do you hear that word grace? Grace comes from God. Blessings to which we aren't necessarily entitled. All right, read that whole article on the opinion page. Ryan Mesmore is a research fellow in the Richard and Helen DeVos Center for Religion and Civil Society at the Heritage Foundation, Washington, D.C. All right, excellent article.
We have a glitch in the computer. We have to shut it off because you're not getting sound.
We're not getting. No, it's good.
We're good?
It went.
Okay, we're good. All right. So having gone from there, now what did you do? Why did you switch cameras? You know, it's not funny. Why didn't you stay on the camera over there? All right. We have to get some new help in the control room. Last week, I talked about, and I got a note on this. I talked about no, get out of the control room if you think it's funny. Seriously. It's not funny, John. Last week I talked about destructive life choices, lifestyles. I got a call on that because what it was really about was about intolerance. That was the question over at Hamline University, where Tom Emmer has his perspective on a conservative business and on the issue of gay, lesbian, transsexual, on that perspective of life. And so the issue became, well, the comment I made that it was destructive. Some choices in life are destructive. And apparently that didn't sit well. Well, let's talk about some of the other choices that are legal but that are destructive. How about children that are raised with a single mother without a father in the home? Is that destructive? Well, I ask you. How about alcohol? Alcohol is legal. Is alcohol destructive? That's a choice. How about tobacco? Is tobacco destructive? It's legal. There's all kinds of things in society that are choices that are still destructive to the person and to society as a whole. But the issue, those weren't the issues. The issue is when a certain group gets special rights. And they're not really rights, they're special privileges. When they get special privileges and then they're intolerant to other people that don't have special privileges. So that's the issue that I wanted to finish up talking about. And of course, you know, this show, we don't talk about being politically correct. We talk about being correct. This show is about making you think. So if you want to disagree, the phone number is there. If you feel more strongly than that, we'll set up and we'll talk about getting you out here on the show. All right, now I want to go on to talk about Cottage Grove. And Cottage Grove is where the citizens in Cottage Grove have been abused by their elected city council. And so to that end, I want to set this up. They're deceived, they're lied to, they're denied public data, public information. The mayor and most of the council have found a way to go around the citizens on building projects that started out $50–60 million. The outcry was so loud that It's now down to about 18 million, but once again, it was not given to the voters. The system was manipulated. Capital improvement projects not going to the voters. So what we're going to do is are we set up there?
I believe we are.
Okay, Lauren Setterstrom is on a computer. This is going to be from the one of the citizens that will be talking to the council from, this was from the previous meeting, so it would be December 7th. This is from the December 7th, 2011 meeting. The city council has, in Cottage Grove, has their meeting the first and third of the month. What would that be, Wednesday? We'll check that. Anyway, let's play what we have set up. All right, can we get this out on the air?
Well,
Here we go. Let's go to full screen.
Yep, we're good.
No, down below, not up there, not up there.
There isn't one down below.
It is.
At this point, open forum is for anyone
That's square.
on this evening's agenda.
Okay,
So,
hang
I
on.
do
I've
know
got to
this,
find
and
my
we do have,
arrow. Okay, hang on.
People that had noted on here what they'd like to talk about is taxes. We will have an opportunity through the Truth and Taxation part of the meeting for you to speak on taxes or your concerns about them. So now would not be the time to speak on that particular issue. I'm not sure about the other one because there wasn't anything listed. I think it's
40 there.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you have a question? What's that? Yes. Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Do you have
Okay, let me
something
hit
on
pause.
tonight's agenda? Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to do a show and teach somebody how to run the computer at the same time. All right, let's go to the next one. That was the mayor of Cottage Grove there, Bailey. Don't confuse him with Bailey Nursery, by the way. That was Mayor Bailey. And you have to remember, I don't know how many months ago that was, about 5 months ago, that we made a phone call from the show right to him and had him on the air. And that's going to be distributed, I guess, down in Cottage Grove for the people. But are we ready with the next clip?
Yep.
All right, let's go.
And if he
But you will be
takes a permit,
involved.
is there a consequence?
Full screen.
Okay, hang on.
Kinds of things. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks for bringing it
Thank you
to
for
our
bringing
attention.
it. Okay, was there any other, anybody else that would like to speak on the open forum on something that's not on tonight's?
Fifth Street South, Cottage Grove. The reason I'm showing this tonight is talked in the past about complaints on past projects that have not been fixed in the road projects, and so this is to show you this is one of the repairs
Is the sound going out on this?
for a bunch of caulking.
Put your mic on
The curb
a
gutter.
speaker.
And this was, it looks like a petrified lobster. Along with that, dangerous to touch. Along with that, I have 11 photos. When you say, and I talked to this person, they said they've been dealing with the city on repairing of this and his driveway for over 3 years now. That project was done for him for 2008, I believe. So he's not had any contact with the city. This is the repair that the city sent out when it happened. Still losing dirt here. And then I understand that the city's now purchased 75 golf carts for the golf course that's losing money, and that you closed down a pool that's losing money, but you put money into a losing business of the golf course. Even though you traded in some things, I think a business that's losing money shouldn't be putting more money into it. And Jennifer, if you want to see those pictures, I'll show those to you. And I think we have to be more responsible in how we're spending the money in this economic times. Jennifer, if you...
Okay, we're on pause.
We'd like a close-up of this. And
Why were we on pause?
Okay.
It automatically goes to it.
All right. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on open forum this evening?
Okay. Okay, I'll find the next one.
All right. Seeing none, I will close.
All right, switch back. Okay, that was Kathy, I believe she pronounces her name Lenendowski. And she is one of many of the citizens in Cottage Grove that has been consistently trying to access their local government, the city of Cottage Grove, for public data, public information under the Freedom of Information Act. And of course, the city is flatly refusing to give out the information. Now, I talked to her on the phone the other day and suggested that she goes to IPAD, state agency, and file a complaint on the fact that they cannot get public data. Now, I don't know if she's watching tonight. It would be nice if she gave us a call in and we could talk about this issue. But this building project that started out to be a city hall, and along with that there was going to be a police station, a fire station, a library, a community center, and they were pushing $50–60 million, and the citizens wanted those projects to go up to a vote. So what the city did under the leadership of, well, leadership is really not a good word, under the conniving of the mayor over there, Mayor Bailey took and found a way to build these projects without the approval of the voters, and to take and get the money from, and if you listen to what Kathy said there, take the money from what they call inter funds, from the water, sewer, take these monies from other operating departments that have resources and circumvent the voters, and then find a way to get the rest without voter approval. Now, they went to the banks, and I think they went to 8 banks. 6 banks turned them down because the risk was too high. They did get 2 banks to bite, and the issue there is, and we're still researching some of this, that the city, just like other cities, is going to be charging people, it looks like $4,400 per household assessment, 7% at 15 years, for 15 years, and the city is paying I think 1.5%. Now, this is the same city that went out and bought 75 new electric golf carts at $300,000 and $40,000 to $50,000 for a charging station. Now, you have to remember that the golf course has never made a profit. It's kind of like Maplewoods Community Center. Since its inception, has operated in the red. Of course, they closed the community pool in Cottage Grove, and because that lost $70,000 a year, but it was all right to go out and spend $300,000 for golf carts, new golf carts for the golf course that has lost money since it opened. So the ice arena, of course, over there, another loser, about $110,000 a year. And so when citizens want to take and access their government for these figures and other information, the city tells them, no, we're not going to give it to you. And so you have to remember that when this project started with all this grandiose, kind of like the Matamidi school district over there wants to build this, and we do have calls coming in, we're being told, this huge campus. And it's, for some people, think that this is a big marketing deal, but it's really debt driven by the taxpayers. So now it's down to the public safety and city hall at about 18 million. 3% completed and no financing in place. Isn't that wonderful? Now, at one point in time, the YMCA was going to be part of that, the community center. The YMCA has decided not to go forward. The other part, there's a Home Depot store down there that's been closed for probably about 4 years, and I believe it was LA Fitness was going to go in there. Well, LA Fitness doesn't want to go in if the public sector is going to build a community center. See, that's the whole issue. Why should government be building the things that rightfully belongs in the private sector? That's where these cities, they think they're in competition with the other cities to outdo them. And the taxpayers are getting sick of this. All right, let's take the call. I said we were going to try to take callers sooner than keeping them on hold. Caller, are you with us? Question or comments? Do we have the call? Go ahead, caller. We're not getting any sound.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bob, I recently watched the news this afternoon, and they talked about the Stillwater School District that is cutting about $1 million out of their budget because they did not pass their levies. Now, I understand your show goes out across many communities. I would ask you to explain to the people how open enrollment affects every school district, and I would encourage you to have every school district talk to their senators and area representatives to limit it. You understand that there is a bottom line on open enrollment, it's 1%, but there is no cap on open enrollment. If we capped open enrollment, maybe Stillwater School District would regain some of their 190 students that they send to the Matamidi School District. That happens to the White Bear School District, North St. Paul School District. We're getting them from North Oaks. We're getting them from St. Paul. And I understand, like you said, your show goes out across all the way across cities here. So it's important that everybody get out there and call their representatives. It's an opportunity to bring some of their money back to their own school districts that are suffering. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. And of course, the caller's right. The show goes to about 50 cities. And that's why we keep trying to move away from Maplewood. But Maplewood is just so outrageous that it's like they keep...
It's a poster child for governmental dysfunction.
Lawrence Setterstrom, there we go. Well said.
It's almost a circus. You know, it's supposed to be a democracy, and they keep running over the top of people that in their community. They don't listen to them. They have this grandiose plan of empire building, and they're going to build it come heck or high water because it's their idea, and so well the citizens have to pay for it. That's too bad. It's our brainchild, and you're going to pay.
There we go. You're right, Lauren. Now, and do we have more video? We got
Yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll right now.
Okay, hang on one second. One of the things that people see, the other thing is that with Cottage Grove, of course, this show went to Cottage Grove, used to go to Cottage Grove, but the South Washington County Telecommunication Commission dropped public programming. Now, this is to the length that the Cottage Grove City Council will go to try to silence the citizens. Because citizens were putting things on public access television about their government that this is right off the website. You can go to Cottage Grove, South Washington County Telecommunication, SWCTC. And South Washington County Telecommunication Commission no longer will air public-generated program, opting to broadcast only professionally produced show and contents approved by commission staff.
Well, Bob, isn't that called the mushroom syndrome? They keep you in the dark and feed you manure?
This is unbelievable.
It's kind of censorship, I believe, isn't it? Realistically,
yeah.
The whole concept of public TV.
It says here, the member cities fund the commission. No, that's not true. That's a blatant lie. Where the funding comes from is the cable subscribers that pay for cable, and there is a component that the Comcast pays to use the public right-of-ways to run their cable lines. Now, the 9-member commission unanimously decision to alter the format was largely a response to programming objection recently raised by Cottage Grove and the planned construction of a new city government building. So, because there was public outcry, Cottage Grove council members, and you have to remember who's on there that does that. Who's the chair of the cable commission down there? Roger Peterson, former mayor of Cottage Grove, is the cable commission chair. Of course, his wife, Myron, had been on the Ramsey County, a Ramsey County commissioner until she got defeated. And then you have, and we do have another phone call, the person on the cable commission is also the Cottage Grove City Council person, Jen Peterson. So, and the cable commission is located in Cottage Grove. So what they did is pulled out the right for citizens. Well, Cottage Grove resident Kathy Lewandowski had sought cable TV time to present programming that challenged the City Hall project, which has the support of council members. Council member Lenke, the lone City Hall project opponent on the council, said he wanted to host a show on SWC TV. Of course, that was all stymied. It goes on to say that the Fran Hemish, the commission administrator, said that she does not mean she will air negative, will not air negative programming, including contents that may be viewed as critical of the Commission member cities. Isn't that censorship? Folks, there was a federal lawsuit over a very similar thing. This is really good government, citizen in action, trying to get information to other citizens. But this is so atrocious compared to the lawsuit. This was down in, I believe it was Kansas City, where the Ku Klux Klan wanted to do a show on public access. So what they did down there is they just shut down public access because they didn't want the Klan being able to use public access television. Went to the federal courts. The federal courts said, you can't stymie free speech like that. That's not a legitimate reason to shut down public access television. You pay, the subscribers pay PEG fees on their monthly cable bill. That stands for Public, Education, and Government. That's to give them public access like this show. Education, stuff that comes out of the school systems, and the government, city council meetings, council meetings, so you can watch what's going on. So this is what Cottage Grove, this is how
they censor things.
How, I mean, it just, they manipulate the system to do building projects, road projects, and make sure they keep the voters, citizens, taxpayers out of the loop. It's just unbelievable. All right, let's take, down there you can't get documents, you can't get figures, and you can't get the truth. All right, let's take the caller. Caller, are you with us? Question or comment? We have no sound. Go ahead.
It sounds pretty un-American to me, what's going on down there in the southeast metro area. It sounds like it's somebody was running in opposition of some long-term planning of some government bureaucrat, and so they pulled out their fascist, we're going to cut off your right to speak, democracy, they cut off their voice. The question I have, this sounds very similar to what I heard on the radio today with the Republicans. The fascists, they kicked out the lady who apparently had an affair with a staffer. So what's unusual about that? That's what the good old boys have been doing out for a long time. And they put in, Ted Lilly as one of the assistant majority leaders. Ted Lilly, the guy who runs the paper. By the way, isn't Ted Lilly, doesn't he represent one of those areas that the fascists cut off the American way to express yourself? Thanks, Bob.
I think you're absolutely right, caller. It's, you got Leon Lilly, who claims to be a state rep, claims to be the most liberal member of the legislature, and then you got his brother in the Senate that who claims to be the conservative. Think of what the money of the taxpayers could save if both of those two. Leon could keep handling baggages out at the airport. That's his real calling. And Ted could keep running the newspaper. And we could save 2 salaries. We don't need...
By the way, did you
they realize, hey, that's a good gig. Get in on the government dole.
On the news today, it was pointing out that the senators are all worth at least $2 million, and a lot of the millionaires have been made by insider trading and using inside information because they know what's coming up within the Senate. And it was just on the news today how many of the senators become very wealthy. They're all
U.S. senators.
U.S. senators.
Well, same thing with the U.S. representatives.
Well, they're only worth about $750,000, but most of the bottom end of the U.S. senators, the people in the senators, the average was worth being $2.6 million. So they go in there with a salary of 50 or 75,000. How do they amass millions in a short time? Well, obviously, and the interesting thing is, many of the laws that are passed, the Senate and the House of Representatives are exempted from. So
they exempt, same in the state legislature.
So they
exempt themselves. They exempt themselves from the rule that the other government entities are supposed to follow, and that's giving out public data and public information. Isn't it wonderful how these people say, well, we get this wonderful health care plan, but you schmoes are left out in the cold. All right, we have another phone call. Caller, are you with us? Question or comment?
Comment.
Good evening.
Comment.
Is this, this sounds like Kathy. Is it Kathy?
No.
No. Okay, go ahead, caller.
You mentioned, Bob, a while ago about Myra Peterson being a commissioner for Ramsey County.
No. Myra was on the Washington County
Board of Commissioners.
Yes.
Yeah, you said Ramsey County, and we retired her this last election.
Okay.
Just a comment on that.
All right, thank you. You're correct. I misspoke because there's so much going on with the Ramsey County commissioners forcing that stadium down our throat. You know, isn't it something that they try to get you to believe that the world will come to the end if we don't have the Vikings? You know, isn't it interesting that the Timberwolves went out of business for a while and the world didn't end? Yeah, this professional sports is, this professional sports stuff is, folks, keep it in perspective. All right, we say we have another phone call. Let's take the phone call. And caller, are you with us? Question or comment? Good evening. Let's have the call. Push the call button. Caller, you're on the air. Did we lose the caller? Apparently
He only has about 15 minutes left.
There we go. We had the caller. Caller, are you with us? You know, next week we get back our regular person in the... All right. There's keep going like this. She's there. She's there. Are you there, caller? Go get some help.
there's some technical difficulties in that.
Technical difficulty. All right. What I want to talk about is Lake Maplewood. Cottage Grove wants to tear down the fire station. I think it's fire station number 2. And it's across the street from St. Rita's Catholic Church on 80th Street. And what's interesting about this, there was just a grant that was given from the state last fall to put energy efficient lighting and into that station. And of course there was a lot of questions about the bidding process on that job, how it went out. My understanding is that they had 3 bidders, but the bidders were bidding on 3 different lighting packages. One had a bid on one had a bid on the other, and one had a bid on the third, and then they decided which one they wanted to take. So they were able to, the state auditor needs to come in. And
that sounds like the Montemedi School District, where they had all their bids set up ahead of time. The auditor sent them a letter, and unfortunately there's no teeth in the law. The bids for grading, they're only good for 30 to 90 days. They expired. They went ahead with them anyway. They never rebid it. And again, that's another example of we need some laws with some teeth in it. Some people say we need less government. I think in some
Well, the role of government is to regulate.
Yep, and they're not regulating.
They're not regulating. It's not to tax and it's not to spend. It's to regulate, to protect
the citizens.
The citizens. They've got that so screwed up. All right, can we get the call out here this time? Caller, are you with us? Question or comment?
Sometimes you go off.
Go ahead, caller. Hello? Did we lose the caller? I don't know what's happening.
Almost 18 after 9. But you won't have much time here. No, I said it's after.
We had you out on the air, but we lost you. All right, let's go on. Let's see. I was hoping we were going to get some calls, and they're having problems with the phone in the back room.
Did you want that next clip?
Let's play the next clip. Let's play the next clip.
Take the motion. Second. Second by Councilmember Olson. Any discussion, but I will go ahead and let, if you want to go up and speak, you're welcome to do so.
Here we go.
Kathy Lewandowski, 9043 75th Street South. Yes, I'm impacted by the assessment, and so are many other people I've talked to in my neighborhood. The special assessment amount will be more than any increased benefit in the property that we have. As I said earlier tonight, my property continues to drop and the taxes continue to go up. People are struggling out there. We know of complaints of over 2 years. I've mentioned one tonight earlier of properties that have been damaged and have not been remedied, and this is going on 3 years later. Some of which I just showed you tonight with that big piece of caulking. People are struggling out here. These are roads that don't need to be done, and it's not the only area that this city has approved for road projects that have been done. One including River Acres, where a petition came in with the citizens out there and it went forward on a project too. That's not the only city. That's not the only project in this road pavement management that the citizens have objected to, and you guys continue to go forward and put it through. People can't afford this. You're going to tax them out of their home. They're struggling. Do you not understand that? Like the gentleman said earlier tonight, you have got to stop spending. You spent over $300,000 on golf carts on a losing business. You can't be doing that stuff.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
And I apologize to Ms. Lewandowski but this...
Not a public hearing.
Well, it's... What the council's acting on is to order and set a public hearing so that everyone who would be impacted by the project can be heard. There will actually be a public hearing, so all of the comments that you're making now are actually ones that you need to make at that public hearing.
Okay.
And all they're doing now is just setting the public hearing.
Okay.
So they're giving you an opportunity to be heard,
Okay,
but it's
great.
not tonight,
Can
it's
we
in the
make
future.
sure that, because this is what I found out in my letters were dated November 4. They were posted at the post office on the 8th. The earliest anybody got their letter on that neighborhood was the 9th. I got mine on the 18th, and the meeting was on the 21st. You have got to get the notices out sooner. And let me ask one more question. Why does this type of thing have to be done during the holidays? Why does it have to always be done when people have family in the town and you've got plans for other things besides the weather? Why can't it be done when when the holidays are all over? Okay, so I would like some notice to be out, so people can get this mail in time. I ran into a guy that never got his at all. And as I talked to another guy, that he didn't get his either. So there's people that aren't getting the mail. And I know you have no control over that. The problem is, you got to get the notice out there sooner. Thanks, Corinne. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, I have a motion and a second.
All right, we're back. You get a feel for what the citizens are saying there, and I think we have the phone number of the person that was been trying to call in. Why don't I just call that person and we'll get them right off the phone here, and we'll do it this way. We'll use low technology. We have the phone number of the person. Let's see if we get this.
Yeah, I'm Low-Tech Lauren.
Mr. Zick?
Good evening, Kathy. We have you via cell phone.
Okay.
Low tech here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So what we have going here, and that was on that last clip we played. That was Kathy. And so, Kathy, we've been talking about the fact that the city of Cottage Grove went around with that CIP or CPI funding and didn't go to the voters, and wanting to close the fire station after they got a grant from the state. Just fill us in on some of this background with what's going on in Cottage Grove.
Yeah, you get a few things mixed up, but for that Public Safety City Hall, there was supposed to be, they talked about CIP bonding. And if the citizens voted through the CIP bondings, the interest rate for over a $16 million project would have been 1 or 1.5%. We brought in 1,400 signatures that the mayor disregarded and dismissed and said that that building would not go to a vote. And when I asked him why, he said because he said so. And so now they started building on that project in October. This last October, just a couple of months ago, there's no financing in place. And now at this December 7th meeting, they're going to decide to go to interfunding financing, which means in 6 out of the 8 banks that they had sent out letters to submit bids on for the building, 6 of them returned a reply that said, no, it's too high risk, which as citizens have been telling them all along. So, as far as the fire hall, I believe that was Fire Station 2, and I think that's over by St. Rita's, and they had gone in for some grant money on some lighting fixtures, and now they're talking about tearing that building down and rebuilding it, and my understanding is that's only 20 years old. Well, why isn't anybody maintaining these buildings? We can't destroy our houses because it has a leaky roof.
Well, let's talk about this interfunding, because the city borrows money at one rate, and then they charge the citizens on utility bills, or where they take this interfunding from 7% and make 5% off their own citizens. Talk about that a little bit.
Yes, that's exactly now what they want to do. And they've had several road assessment projects going through, and they charge 7%. Last year, I think the going rate for the city on their financing was 3.25%. They were charging 7%, which means that difference is a hardship on the citizens. It's almost a 4% difference. Now, on this year, I guess currently I think it's like 2%. And the road project is going to be assessed at about $4,400 a household at 7% for 15 years. And I wrote the administrator and I said, what kind of profit is that on the home? And he said, there is no profit on that. And I said, well, that's the new math. That's all I can say. Because they're going to loan on this interfunding. They take money out of the funds that are with the city. And they're only getting like 0.75% interest on that now. So they're going to borrow that themselves and pay back 1%. And then they put out these road projects and they charge us 7%. And they're using all this money apparently to pay back on that $16 million building that 95% of the people didn't want and that the mayor would not let go to a vote.
Well, see, it's the same as in Maplewood on these road projects. They keep it's a Ponzi scheme, a pyramid scheme, and they keep these projects going, and then they can take the, in the first place they overstate the cost of the projects when they bond for them. So there's always extra money. Like in Cottage Grove, they said they had $5 or $6 million, didn't they? Explain that.
Yeah, they said that they'd been stashing the cash on the citizens for the public safety building for 10 years, and they had $5 million stored away. Well, we can't find that anywhere in the accounts that we were showing, and I don't know where they have all this other money now that they intend to take for the building either. So they're also planning, there's a surplus, I understand, in the water sewer building fund, water sewer fund. And they want to take that money, apply it to their $16 million plus new building they're building, and then they're going to increase our city water sewer bills $15 or $40 a household.
Not only that, but I played played a segment from the council meeting where your financial person said that the cost from Met Council had actually decreased while the city, as a matter of fact, raised it 7%, and it actually went down, I think, 5%. That's like a 12% swing. You know, that's how they keep all these planners and engineers and city staff funded, and that's how they theoretically can come up with these $5-6 million slush funds. But it's all taxpayer money.
Where are these fundings? Because I've been trying, for months, I have been asking for public documents, reviewing the public documents, including the documents on these appraised properties in the road project that's currently going on that they want to assess. Now, I've asked for over 3 weeks now for which properties they were, who did the appraisal, individual that did the appraisal, including the company, and then the one that did the appraisal paperwork, and they won't give it to me. These are public documents. This is what anybody should be able to get off the street. It shouldn't take 3 months, 9 months to get it. But they refuse every obstacle they can in the way. How they get by with that, I don't know.
Well,
we're paying the city administrator $119,700 plus dollars. Now the governor makes $120,000. This guy is not worth it, and if he's only getting paid to put obstacles in the way of citizens who are hardworking and paying for that, he needs to be gone.
I agree, and that's the problem. There's too much money floating around. They're too well compensated, and in Cottage Grove, what form of government do they have? Do they have a city manager that holds all the power, or does the council actually make the decisions?
I can tell you this. There's 2 statutory forms of government. There's statutory A and B. One has just the mayor and the council. The other one has the administrator, the mayor, and the council. We have the administrator, the mayor, and the council. Now, whether that's A or B, I don't know. But I'll tell you what. It's a statutory city, and what I found out is they can do whatever they want. The only way to get the government hands back into the people, where the people actually have something to say, is to get the home rule charter city in the city. And we have a petition going around for people. We need 1,500. We'll go for more, whatever we need, for people to sign up and say, we want a different form of government. And now the mayor will have to listen once this form of government's in place. Because if we just get a different mayor that does the same thing, we're still screwed.
No, you're correct. Home rule charters is the way to go, whether it's a county or the city. Kathy, we're out of time. Kathy Lenendowski, thank you for calling in. We'll try to get you out on the show, and we appreciate the comments. We're going to follow up on this, and we did talk about the way they shut down public access cable commission to the citizens, and we're going to follow this up. Thank you, Kathy. Good night.
Thank you, Bob. Good night.
They did the same thing in Hugo. You know, they voted the new fire station down, and after it was voted down, they went and did it anyway.
We're done. I'm your host, Bob Zick. Watch Lauren Settersom All Around Grant Mondays at what time?
7 o'clock. 7 p.m. Mondays, All Around Grant.
All right. Thank you.
Many great things that we offer here at SCC TV, and that's our grant program, which is actually comes through the RWS.
That have sworn an oath to uphold our Constitution and our rights to petition the government. These are the people that have sworn the oath to us.
What my question is tell me why I should vote for you. What are you going to do for me? And I mean do it. Not tell me what you're going to do, but really do it. And I do watch all on TV too, in the legislative channel. All right. So throw stuff up my TV.
That's a great question, because I've never lost perspective. I'm a servant of the people. And that's where a lot of politicians lose their focus. Who elected them and what is their responsibility? We got to be a servant of the people. The other difference is we've got to look at experience. And nothing against my friends up here. We've been doing this for 8 months, traveling around. But I've chaired more committees in the state legislature. Chair of State Government Finance, Vice Chair Ways and Means for 4 years, and several other committees. I'd have more budgeting experience than all my colleagues combined.
Thank you.
Well, when I stand up here and ask you to vote for me, I'm doing it because I don't want to be a public servant. I don't want to be a professional politician. I don't want to be a lifelong person serving at your expense. But somebody has to get out there and say no. And it has to be somebody who doesn't care if they get reelected. Won't care if I don't get reelected. All I'm interested in is while I'm there, I do the best that I can for the people who I represent, which is you, not the people in government.
Very quickly, one, because it's not my career, and it's never going to be my career. I don't have to worry about the future. I have a freedom of knowing that I will always be able to make the living out in the private sector where I've been getting my teeth kicked in for the last 20 years. And I think more people who are career politicians should understand that. Two, budgeting experience. My goodness, Bill, I've been running a small corporation called a family with 7 kids and my wife and a dog and everything else. I've got more budgeting experience than anybody that's up there. And lastly, and most importantly, you got to have a vision for what we got to do. Some people say, Tom, you get angry. Maybe I do, because maybe I understand firsthand how hard it is to run a business in this state. Maybe I do get a little irritated that people in St. Paul don't listen, and people in Washington don't listen. You need somebody who has that personal experience and the vision to give Minnesota a future that's going to be prosperous for our kids. That's it. Yeah, no damn. Yes.
What's that? You forgot to set the timer.
I'm up here, but I'm just like you. I've gotten upset with the way things have been going in this state. Because, you know, we've got these people that tell us they're going to do things in state office, and then they don't. Palenti's example. The last time he wanted to run, to get our endorsement, then to run, he said he was going to have marriage defined between one man and one woman. Constitutional amendment. He got endorsed, he got elected, he forgot about it. And that's been the track record of these people. And my reasoning for running is not, at this point in my life, to build a career. Believe me, it wouldn't work. But I think that what we have to do is play as conservatives, stop this defense game. It's got to be offense. Life issue, Second Amendment rights, cutting the taxes, structural changes in government so they reduce the size of it.
The reason to vote for me, just because I hold an office in the legislature, I am just like you as well. It doesn't make me better than anyone else. We are all equals. But I think people are looking for someone who's genuine in what